Hi, Analisa 6 here with your December 2022 Gemini horoscope for Gemini Sun and Rising. Gemini, this December is going to be really interesting for you with Venus and Mercury starting out in Sagittarius at the beginning of December and then moving into Capricorn by the second week of December. Relationships and wanting to connect with people have been a really big theme for you since November. If you're in a relationship, taking things to the next level or feeling romantic or wanting to connect with your partner in a deeper way has been a big theme for you. If you're single, you've probably been feeling a very large emphasis to want to partner up if you haven't already. So you're either dating a lot or you've dated and then you found somebody and you're in a new relationship, or maybe you just left a relationship and you're now looking for a new partner, or if you're currently with your partner, you're trying to elevate it in some way. So those have been major themes. There's a lot of energy that supports the Gemini Sun or Rising individual with marriage or joining shared resources. So hypothetically, let's say you're a Gemini Sun or Rising, and let's say you're already with somebody. You could be getting married to them. You could be moving in with them and signing a lease together. You could be opening a bank account with them. If you are newly married, you could be buying a house with that person. That could be a really big theme for you in December. So if that's all happening, that's great. Another theme, let's say you already have all that stuff. You already have a house or shared resources with your partner. This could also be something that has to do with shared resources with your family members. So if there's finances or assets within your family or your business, even, those could be a big theme in terms of restructuring that stuff, like maybe working out your will or any kind of bureaucracy around assets could be a big theme. Also refinancing a loan or a car or a house, that could also be a big theme for you in December. And it's also a supported time to be doing those things, even though Mars is retrograde and we might feel like it's a little bit of an odd time to do some of that. With where Mercury and Venus are for you in the month of December, this would actually be a time where you might feel like you need to move forward in that way. It's not necessarily a bad thing having Venus there. Venus is an auspicious planet, but because Mars is retrograde, you definitely want to read the fine print, and you want to check things as thoroughly as possible for that reason. So if you were questioning, like, should I move forward in this way, you probably will, and you're supported in doing that for the most part. Let's talk about the full moon at 16 degrees of Gemini that's going to be making a conjunction with Mars. So obviously, you being a Gemini, this is going to impact you significantly, and it's happening in the area of the chart for the horoscope that has to do with our identity and how we express ourselves. And so usually with full moons, when we're letting something go or we're trying to manifest something or releasing something into the universe, we feel the shift. And when it's in our sun sign or our rising sign, we feel the shift in a really personal way. It feels like it's happening to us, and it feels like we have to hurry up and make this change or do this thing right now. And so you might feel like it's time for you to really figure out who you are in a new way. And, I think that for some of us, I know there's people out there that really hate the New Year's resolution stuff. I'm not one of those people. I love New Year's resolutions, and I love seasonal shifts. I love rituals that celebrate yearly, monthly, seasonal shifts. I think that's why I like astrology so much, is because I like that we can celebrate every single time it's a new astrological sign. I love celebrating every time there's a new and a full moon. I love any reason to celebrate. I'm a Leo. I think Geminis can sometimes be similar in that way, where having these definitive times to kind of reflect and review can feel sometimes annoying depending on who you are, but sometimes it can be nice. And so I think that this is actually a really positive time for the Gemini individual to be thinking about the new year and how your life and the things that you're doing right now are going to impact the way you relate to yourself in the year ahead. So this full moon is a good time for you essentially to release any blockages or ideas about yourself that are preventing you from really stepping into the identity that you want to have moving forward. So yeah, good time for that. You might feel a lot of anxiety. You might be overthinking a lot of that kind of stuff because of the nature of Mars and Gemini. And so getting grounded and doing things that actually kind of help you get out of your head is really good. One of the things that I've advised a lot of my more overthinky, anxious, ADHD brained friends who tend to have a lot of air dominant qualities in Gemini or Libra is, I think that in our culture where meditation has become so popular, I'm super pro meditation, but meditation for anxiety rarely works unless you've already had a meditation practice for a long time or you're doing breath, like pranayama meditation, yoga. I'm super into pranayama for Geminis and anxious disposition people, because the breath and harnessing the breath and doing like fourfold breath meditation, breath work can be really positive for anxiety. However, if we are super elevated and anxious without relaxing the body first, we can actually just end up making a lot of that anxiety worse if we go straight into meditating. So a lot of Gemini dominant people will say meditating just doesn't work for me. It's because you haven't released the energy physically first. And so in most yoga practices, you're actually supposed to do certain asanas, like body movement and poses before you meditate. Like yoga preps the body, physical yoga preps the body for meditation. And so that's an important thing for people with anxiety specifically, especially people with anxiety and recovery, to remember. That's why it's so positive a lot of times for people with anxiety to go to the gym. I have anxiety and I've been a gym rat. I love walking. Like I have health issues and I can't go to the gym or work out to that extent anymore, but walking is a really good way for me to do low impact grounding. And then my brain is so much calmer and so much more able to think and process information or even meditate or do breath work. So that's also something that I would advise for the Gemini individual specifically, is to kind of be in that thought process with yourself of don't go straight into trying to calm your brain, do some activity first, and then, then work on the meditation part of it. At the end of the month, we're going to have the new moon in Capricorn at 1 degree on December 23rd. And again, this is hitting in that area that has to do with shared resources and finances for you. And so this is a great time. Like if you are thinking about moving and, combining your income or your, signing a lease with another person or anything like that, this is the time to start really planning that out and setting intentions around it. Again, with Mars retrograde, we might not be pulling the trigger. Mercury's going to go retrograde at the end of December on the 29th. So again, not the best time to sign a new contract or pull the trigger, but great time to set intentions towards that. So if you're like, I want to move in the new year, start thinking about where you want to move. Start looking at places that you want to move to. Start shopping around, for things. And if you're planning a wedding or you're planning on refinancing, like this is the time to start really doing the research, essentially. That's my dog Bruce barking at a bird in the yard, probably. Hopefully he doesn't ruin this video for me. They bark a lot through the window at things. And I'm actually also a professional dog trainer and I reinforce their barking all the time. I think it's kind of funny and cute, but not when I'm trying to do a video. So by the end of January, that's actually a good time, like the last week of January, to actually pull the trigger on something. So again, great month to plan, great month to start putting these things into motion and thinking about it. Pulling the trigger and gaining momentum by the end of January and into February is the better time to do it. Always the universe has other plans for us. So sometimes things happen sooner than we felt like was the best time, but we also have to trust in divine timing as well, right? So yeah, that's your summary pretty much for the December 2022 horoscope. I also forgot to mention that we have Jupiter entering Aries, and it's going to make a square to that new moon. And you're going to probably feel like you want to connect with your community and your friends quite a bit in December. So being social is really positive for you. But again, you're really going to have to prioritize that downtime and make sure that you're getting grounded in your body, because it's just going to be all kinds of crazy if you don't. So good things to think about. I wish you happy holiday, best of luck to you, and happy new year.